already know, especially if you don't know me, that I actually do have a grandmother that I particularly have respect for. I forgot how her name goes along the storyline. It's like Catherine or Caroline or some shit. But I do have a grandmother from my father's side of the family, the Cashmans. She is still alive to this day, knowing that her ex-husband had passed to the next life 8 to 9 years since. I don't know the years of her life, whatever. But Grandma Cashman, has a very particular tale inspired of literally being moral on this planet right now in 2025. Ongoing. If you've seen my last video on TC Personal, one of the particular ones, not the last one, like, there was one particular where I mentioned 3 Nicktoons, right? Jimmy Neutron, Fail Our Parents, Special SquarePants. There was actually a meme, and I'll go back to my Grandma Cashman in a second. There is a kind of an insider meme I go with this, because the idea of that video was based on a reference I knew the entire time of my life, let alone self-important Tony Cashman, March 4, 9 times 11. Cartoons are not. Autism are not. The thing with, like, what I would make memes with, as I would, like, 2017, 2018, you've seen this on the main show, Crosswind, all those years back, when I had the For More Watermark on purpose and I'm not. When I would make memes like that, with Bob Parr and Rigby from Regular Show, or freaking, like, Steven Universe, right? My goal is not to trigger you guys. My goal is not to pretend to be a psychopath until I actually am one. Delulu memes from Gen Z. Which I am, by the way, because I'm first wave Zoomer. When I do stuff like that, in the moment, I am definitely hurting. Absolutely. That makes the best art regardless of whether I'm an artist myself. Which I'm still in denial of some reason, but even more so than autism. But, shall work otherwise. The reason I'll mention stuff like that is because, if we're being very frank, DNA Productions, Butch Hartman, Stefan Hillenberg, these people have affected our lives for better or worse. People like to shit on Butch because they believe I have soul. People like to shit on Hillenberg's legacy because they don't understand it the way they think it's being politicized or not by people who think that that was the whole point of nostalgia. And then DNA wouldn't even know what's going on in the meantime. They did their job. The means I made by that otherwise. Why does Grandmother Cashman still matter right now, as she's still alive? With the therapy dog, with the broken limbs and arms, worse than Wooly anyways. Fuck you, Wooly. Because she still cared. Grandma has fucked up more than Tony Cashman ever could to that point now. And that's not a bluff. You think I would do this much shadow work without actually bluffing without that? No. Because if we go with the Xing Yang thing, or the Order of Man, or like the, not freaking hipster burnt Junction, Texas stuff, or Colorado, or Canada. McKean, hello. Do we have to say this like I'm self-important? Because I already am. What Grandmother got right, in spite of her fuck-ups over the years, is she got people like Ray Lofton and me to care about her. Do you know, like, what it takes to get, like, Tony and Ray to care about our white grandmother? Absolute poggers. Like, what do you think it has? What do you think it will take for us to pretend to not be countryside Caucasians or Taiwanese Americans? Like, why would that matter? Because, again, she gives a shit. If you're atheist like Ray, or a pragmatist like John Michael, or a nerd like William, does that fucking matter? No, because she gave a shit. I don't care what you believe. I don't care if I'm not a cartoonist who's traditional syndicated. I don't care if McKenna actually had shitty, like, Liam and Andrea's real parents in Canada, wherever, PI. Will Anya Maxuzevich actually date me or marry me? Grandmother Cashman cared. You could never take that away from her, no matter how much she pissed off Gopal when he was alive. No matter how much she may have sold John Byrd Jr.'s ex-wife short, in spite of Richard Richmond Lopp or Richard Witt's fuck-ups. And alternatively, one of them has a YouTube channel, the other one's just a fucking loser. Regardless. But, like, but would it, okay, my point is, would it take that much encouragement from the Incredibles forums, from the Game Carson 2 IRC, for me not using Facebook for 14 years at a time until I had to, like, make a stance? Thank you, Clemente. Thank you, Michael from the Harris County, or Heights Boulevard. Uh, and your wife and kid too, like Luna and Daisy. I still mean that, by the way, but like, thank you, Kevin Hunter. Thank you, Segura. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Colin. I have so many fucking friends with though. Pyro plays games. It's not just would Gopal be the kind of man that happens to be famous or not, still managing his time very easily. Radio towers, family done, whatever hell. No. Because when he died, we still cared about him and we moved on. The reason we have sequelitis, so-called, with like Toy Story 4 or Shrek the Fourth, these have lasting pushes. This even SpongeBob without Hillenburg had the same moot point for a very good reason. If you cared that much about your nostalgia to complain about what Disney does, get the fuck out of here. This channel is not for you. Not even my personal channel. This is going to be uploaded to. Grandmother Cashman pulls this off whether she's alive or dead. And no one can take that away from, not even the Tony Cashman. Not the Anthony Brad Cashman. Not the cartoonist. Not the philosopher. Not the guy who made Good Evil Algebras or Project Tether. No one can take that away from her. No one. Not Westview. Not Hamilton. Not Waltrip. Not Lone Star. Not Kroger. Not Vidme. Not the Toxic Shadow Scorpio Moonish McLeans. Not anarchists, not astrologers, not NoFap. No one can. Because that's how sacred she lived. You might call her a slut because of what she did to my family. You might call my mother a slut because of what she did to me. We were not perfect. I'm the kind of motherfucker who wants to date Anya in spite of what she could fuck up even now. And still raise bikini either way. I'm going to give grandmother the slide of the doll on this one, while I still really care about her. Not because she did it right, but because she's still here. And when she's not here, she earns the respect she would get from being forgotten or dead. And I'm not saying that to be blunt. If she's the kind of person who leaves a red Chinese tag for Ray, when he's still atheist and depressed, for 4+ ongoing years, even now actually, that's the fucked up part, is that it's been over 20 years and he's still depressed, then why does it matter without a God or without an atheism? Because she gives a fuck about us. She's still here. When she is actually gone, like Gopal, whether we smite her for that like Charles Kirk or not, that's not what happened. Even if it's a story we can tell ourselves for a better manifestation, that can still be different. Because we're choosing our own stories in spite of what's important and responsible. It doesn't mean we talk too much. It does not mean we want to avoid other people. It does not mean we don't care. Because we do.